What's up? There you go. I think the camera can hold. There we go. Hey, there guys. No. You don't. Angie, if you knock that fucking camera down, girl, stop. What are you doing? Okay. First things first. Currently, right now, things are looking blessed. Things are looking good. But it's also very lonely. Admittedly so. I had a beautiful conversation with my grandpa not too long ago. I had another conversation with my cousin. Two that really made me reflect highly, especially in terms of life. To add on to that, I think there was another conversation that I had with a friend of mine by the name of Juan. And that's not Juan, that's Rhuan. Admittedly so. Was that from my head? Anyways, sorry, I felt like rain hit me, so there's no dark clouds, bro, so it doesn't make sense as to why it would be raining right now. Like, there's nothing up above. Anyways, this friend of mine, Juan, whom I went to school with for a year so far, for 3 terms. And I'll touch upon the other conversations, but this is something that I want to talk about because it's changing so much of how it is that I'm viewing now that, like, I can't go back. This buddy of mine, Juan, had put me onto the idea of how it is that he creates, because I told him the entire time that I went to school with you, while I got to understand your story, I got to hear you out, to understand you, like in terms of as an artist and as like a designer, I could never really process, because I couldn't understand where your work ethic stemmed from and how it is that you viewed things, even though I tried to put myself in that position to see things like you. As of late, I had the privilege, the blessing to be able to work with him as of late, and to see how he views things, how he thinks about things, and how it is that he why he does things the way he does. And I think the craziest thing that I had to be able to get in terms of like great grand advice and or wisdom was he broke it down to me like this. He told me he uses the mornings when he goes to the gym to process an idea. That's when his brain is the most stimulated, and that's like when he thinks about things, when he starts to like thumbnail. So thumbnailing is something that in this channel I kind of told you, where like you sketch out an idea and stuff like that. He's like, I don't sketch much. Like a lot of the sketching that I do is usually a lot of it in here, because it's quicker. I just crank out ideas, I imagine it, I see it before I ever really generate it, and it's a thing where like I'll remember it and I'll proceed to create it when I get home, like the soonest that I can, because if not, then I'll forget it, right? The thing that was very interesting to me that I actually enjoyed and I appreciated a lot was he basically said that sometimes before he even executes the idea, like he'll think of it in the morning, early bright in the morning, but then he'll also use the rest of the day to kind of judge whether or not if it's something that he should execute on or not. So this is like a rinse and repeat thing where it's just every day, which to me, when I heard that, it changed a lot. I finally did apply it today in terms of there is Monday. There's this selfie that I had came across, a very, very beautiful one at that too, of Tracy Ellen Ross, I believe her name was. Yeah, Trace Ellis Ross. And this was like a selfie that I fell in love with and I liked a lot. That for me, I was just like, okay, cool. And I would think about it, and think about it, and think about it, and think about it. And for me, it was, where's the, hold up, let me, where's the image? There you go. This selfie was something that like captivated me because like, for one, you have like a bunch of, you have one clear angle where like, beautiful, color, vibrant, and for me, when I was thinking about the image, all I could think about was shape, right? And so, for one, it's captivating, beautiful photo. Shout out to Trace Ellis. I want to make sure I get her name right. Sorry, Trace Ellis Ross. My goodness, what a beautiful woman. But when I would think about the photo, I would have the original, but then after a little bit, I stopped thinking of the photo and its natural state of how it was captured, but then rather I would start to kind of see it via like shapes and seeing, okay, I like this photo a lot. How can I take something that I appreciate a lot and try to capture it differently, in a way that still captures beauty but also could bring it as another form of art, I guess you could say. And so for me, I would think about circles and rectangles, and I was like, okay, I like this photo a lot, but how can I capture bits and pieces of it that bring screen my phone to kind of capture movement, rhythm, the same color, you know, because like I wouldn't use any other color besides the ones that are presented via the photo, because this was something that I put into Illustrator, but I didn't trace any of it. This was something that I only built using the circles and the rectangles. Some of it was kind of like just drawn and then kind of curved out in the form of like either a rectangle or a circle. But upon doing that, it was something that changed a ton, because for me, this was the starting point, right? So I'll kind of zoom in, but then after that, oh, wrong one. I came up with this, where I don't think it does the photo justice, right? But in terms of like execution and kind of like putting into practice what it is that Juan had just taught me a couple days ago, and seeing the image in my head, the thumbnail, and then acting on it, for me, changed everything, because I'm like, oh shit, like this is crazy, for me, because prior I could never understand his work ethic. Like this was something that for me puzzled the mess out of me, to where I'm like, what are you doing? Because I can't understand it. I can't put myself in your position to understand why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and how you got to this position. For one, I do know that Juan has years on me in terms of like graphic design, and I've been going about it my way. But then most recent, as of late, like I said, I had the blessing of being able to work with him, and like now I'm kind of applying what it is that he's taught me, but then also still blending it with what it is that I want to do, and post that whole little portrait that I did of Trace Ellen Ross. It's clicked, right? Where I'm like, oh shit, like this, if put into routine, day after day after day after day after day after day, is dangerous. And I don't mean dangerous in the sense that like it could be world ending. No, I just mean dangerous because like the amount of growth that can happen within like a short period of time is crazy dangerous. Because it's like, holy shit, you could be competing with the people that are up there, you know, which is good and bad, I guess, depending on who the person is that chooses to exercise the will, right? And yeah, there's that part. So to move on to the next thing that I was gonna talk about, which sadly I am blanking right now. The conversation with my cousin. I think it's been interesting in terms of, as of late, to be in the position that I'm at, right? Same thing with my grandpa, where religion has kind of popped back up into my life in a different sense, where the initial approach of it to how I was kind of brought up on it, for like, you're just following because that's what we've been taught, that's what you're gonna do. Well, okay, so like, what's in it for me for doing it, right? I've come at it from a different sense to now, when I see certain videos of what people talk about, it makes more sense. They always mention put God first, put the work in, and lead by, no, is it lead by? Follow by faith, not with sight. Which to me, I was just like, that makes no damn sense. Why would you do that? But nowadays, it makes a little bit more sense, right? In terms of, hi mamash, hi yo yo. Mas que diz? Ai não, mamash. Yo yo yo. Okay, what you doing? But most recent, as of late, I found myself in a position where I'm rebuilding anew, I guess you could say, which is something that was self-put through action, obviously, and kind of like realizing a bit of where I'm at right now, where there's a direction, there's a place that I want to be at in life, and there's certain sacrifices that have to be made, which has kind of put me in a position where now I'm alone, right? I ask myself, I ask the universe, I ask God, hey, if it doesn't serve me and it doesn't put me in the position, not serve, but doesn't lead me towards the direction that it is that I want to be at in life, towards where I'm building towards, remove it. And my fucking God, that quite literally happened, and it's a bit sad. It's depressing almost, because I'm just like, fuck, now I'm alone. But it's definitely something that makes you reflect a lot more, because in terms of what it is that you ask, you receive. And I've had the blessing that I ask the universe or God the opportunity to find more roles to where I can grow in the kind of life that I want to live. And I went out to Cars and Coffee again the other day, and I was capturing photos and I was doing work, and it was a two-parter, to where one was in Tualatin, and then the other one kind of led me to another place at Ron Tonkin Ferrari. And from there, an opportunity spawned, which I won't go into details yet about, because I still have yet to make the move. And it's something that I will do, especially given that I finished my piece of art, and now it's something that I did note down that I will do. And it's a bit scary, because now I'm starting to see the patterns of what it is that I ask and how it is that it presents itself to me. I ask for opportunity, and it's showing itself to me. And I ask for the willingness to pursue, and I'm finding myself enjoying what it is that I used to find almost like a chore. Like with this buddy of mine, he's showing me how to be more print production and kind of perfectionist, right? To where it's a bit not challenging, I would say, but definitely different to kind of start to tap into that kind of mindset. Why would I do that? And this buddy, one of mine, he had told me, I go standpoint because I want the best quality work. And if I'm putting out the best quality work that I always can, that when I look at it and I see it, and me myself, I'm willing to purchase it, other people will so too because they see the care that you put into it, and they can feel the care that you put into it for the product. And when those two are combined, from there you realize that success and wealth comes about. And that to me was something that as of late messed me up, because watching a friend of mine that isn't one kind of pursue something super passionately, like I'm talking there was never a thought of money. And this friend of mine was so focused in on just delivering quality product without even thinking of money, that not too long afterwards money started to follow because of how good this stuff was. It made me really reflect and think holy crap, literally the craziest thing that I'm starting to realize is that passion is quite literally the key. And I was telling my cousin that. I was telling my grandpa that, and I was telling Juan that through watching this other friend of mine. Yo, this shit is crazy. How passion is quite literally the key that's missing. When you find something that you're super, super passionate about and that you enjoy so much, it's just oh my goodness. Wealth begins to follow. But it's not something that happens overnight, obviously. And that to me is something that I'm willing and patient to do. And as of late, I've kind of regrouped myself with a community of people that have started to kind of click that blueprint into my head too, to where watching how it is that they talk, seeing how it is that they think, and also seeing how it is that they think and seeing how it is that they act. For me, it's holy crap, it's clicking, it's making so much more sense, because when you watch the body language of these people, this is something that for the past couple months I've been paying attention to, and I could understand it, but I couldn't. But now this week was something I wouldn't say terrifying, but damn near shocking, world shaking for me to finally see, and not see but see, bro. And I'm holy shit. And a lot of people don't understand it and they question it, where it's just how did you do it? How did you do it? And when people quite literally slap him in the face with the answer of I just never stopped, it was something that for me is quite easy, because I never stopped. But doesn't it feel like a chore? No, I enjoy doing it. Passion is the fucking bro. Oh my god. And so, kind of watching and seeing these people that I've been engaging with in terms of graphic designers, and trying to understand how it is that they made it as far as they did and the time that they did, I'm just oh, I'm understanding how it is that you guys got there now. And some people will be duh, but it's also it's one thing to kind of click and understand it, but it's also another thing to kind of see how achievable and possible, understand it, and how you could do the same thing in possibly, quite literally, a shorter time span. If that makes sense. Well, obviously it does, but it's just that to me is just groundbreaking. It's I think a lot of people can be controlled by fear and judgment for um, for what it is that they want to pursue, right? And I've kind of put two and two together that some people kind of look at it from the money perspective first. They try to chase the money to get ahead. But for me, I've kind of quite literally clicked on it that it never was about the money to begin with. It was always about the passion. Get mamash. Because there's a person that I know that's quite successful, quite well off, and I could understand his way of thinking better through these lectures that I've been watching, but I could never understand how it is that he was able to build such a community that supports him to be where he's at. But now I'm understanding. For anybody that's watching, feel free to correct me if you feel that I'm wrong. But finally watching and seeing why it is that people kind of continuously choose him. And this was something that one of my friends questioned too. It's how is it that people keep choosing him, and how does he stay so consistent? I think it's because it's not because of the quality. Not the quality, I mean, that's not because of the money, right? But it's about the passion, one, and then also the quality of work that you kind of put out. Some people will be like, well, fucking duh. Okay, my fault, bro. I'm just not learning this. To where, not just learning it, but it was always known, but it was never really discovered, if that makes sense. Up until I made sense. To where, most recent, I came across a post from this designer here in Oregon by the name of Aaron Draplin, where he made these journals, and the journals had a texture and a pattern, an illustration of Mexican ice cream. And when I saw that, I was just like, oh wow, okay, different, that's cool. But to kind of see the quality from the photo that he posted, I was like, huh, interesting. And for me, it was a thing where I was like, I kind of want to buy that. But I'm also in a position too where a friend of mine told me, he's just you're struggling with money. He's like, you're in a position where you can quite literally create, so why not create? When he told me that, I was like, you don't say. And I was like, oh my goodness, holy shit, that is ground shaking. And currently right now I'm 27, and I feel very, very good in the sense that I was able to discover this so young. I wish it had been a little bit sooner, but even then I'm not in a place to be really complaining, because I'm grateful that I found it out now, right? And through practice of being grateful every day, writing it, seeing it, and envisioning the kind of life that I want, constantly just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. What it is that I'm seeking, what it is that I want, the kind of life that I want, seems that much more achievable. And I'm also realizing that that through the environment that you surround yourself with can either make it that much more easier or that much more harder. Which this is the part that breaks my heart, because I've come to note that some people oftentimes are very much comfortable, and they're afraid of being alone. And the dreams that they seek, that they want to do, they oftentimes don't go about it because of the kind of journey and the road that it breeds. And I think for me, it's something that I'm quite comfortable with. Sadly, very sad. It's very sad because there's no real promise as to when you'll find that community, when you'll find that sense of comfort once more, like people that genuinely support you, not because they're supporting you because you're their friend, but because they support you because they see what you see and they believe what you believe and they know that you can do it. Right? There's been times where I presented something to some people, some friends, and been like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And before I say anything else, like I could kind of tell, I can see like they feel like they're put in a hot seat. And it's not up until I reassure them and I tell them like, "Hey, you could say whatever it is that you feel. I'm looking for criticism. I'm looking for critique. I'm looking for direction. Don't hold back." And only then it's just like, oh, okay, there you go, cool. I was making sure because for me, when I was making the O'Malley's business card, the first draft was definitely something where I was figuring out layout. Once I figured out layout, it became a thing where okay, let's think about design. So when I thought about design and I did it, and I started presenting it to certain people, they're like, "Oh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, this is nice, this is dope, this is dope." But even then, for me, I still felt like there was something missing. And when I presented it to a certain person that I especially trusted, he was just like, "This feels weird. It doesn't feel as comforting. It doesn't look as presentable because of this little error that you did. And it's apparent in these 4 different areas." Fixed it, and then post that. That's when everything felt complete with the design for the business cards. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, okay, this was that final piece that I was looking for, and it was to this person that was brutally honest for me and has told me straight to my face. He's like, "I feel like as designers, if we aren't pushing each other, ya comieron también, that if we aren't pushing each other through good criticism, through honest feedback, to see each other grow, then what's the point of it?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness." I was like, "Look at that." I think I found somebody that I want to keep in my life to keep moving. That I especially want to keep in my life, because when it comes to brute, honest truth that I want to hear, he's going to be the person that delivers it to me. So like for me right now, with stuff that I presented to him so far, it's definitely been a thing that he's been willing to put forth that opinion and be brutally honest. Whether it's something that's let me close it. It's too much ridiculous. Stay. But through that service of being like brutally honest, for me it's like, you're very valuable to me, right? And a lot of people might think like, "Oh, I could be that too, I could do that too," and you can, but it was something that upon me just kind of asking straight up, right, without kind of having to reassure, he did so like willingly with no fear, right? And that to me is valuable, because unless from what I've experienced, if I put everyone in the same position and I note that there's a hesitancy, there's a fear, obviously there's life experience too where that kind of plays a part. But the first thing I pay attention to is like, how brutally honest are you? Like, it should be a thing that upon paying attention to like body language, like do you twiddle with your fingers, are you nervous, like does your voice shake, how confident do you say these things to my face? And I don't say that to be like say something I didn't know. I say this because it's like this should go off.
Ooh, Instagram. Oh, nice. That's cool, bro. I appreciate that support. Anyways, um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, support. But in these positions, when you're looking for brutal, honest truth and not no yes men, what I put at priority is like how confident you'll enter into that state and deliver truth, brutal honesty. Not only that, but kind of also give direction of like, hey, you got something solid here. What if you refine it in this way or fix it up in this way to be able to get this outcome that you're looking for? Because it was the same thing to where I was presenting to one of my clients that I'm still working on his business card, but he's asking for an illustration, not a logo, and I had to kind of break that down and let him know, in a sense, a little bit. I didn't break it down to the details that I told one of my friends about with the work that I'm doing for him, but it's just like the start of your business card was good, right? It's not as impactful as it should be, but here's what I did, right, to kind of take it up a notch. Not to say like, oh, I perfected it. No, that's never the thing. Because had it not been for his start, we wouldn't have gotten to the second step. Because had I not seen the base form of this design, who's to say that I would have came up with what I came up with? And it's not anything to where I'm like, ooh, I'm that guy. No. Like, anybody can do it, right? Anybody is capable of achieving such success, and it's something that I was kind of like talking with my barber, and I was talking with my cousin about, and he broke it down in a beautiful way that made the most sense for those of you that might watch anime. He brought up Tanjiro, that Demon Slayer anime, which if you haven't watched it or if you haven't read it, I recommend it. It's good. It's a good story. Very sad, very depressing, but it's good nevertheless. To where I told him, like, with my first exposure to it, with the Porsche magazine covers that I was doing, because I made my own, I would see pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, it's like bounding box, fancy font, rectangle right here off to the corner, beautiful photo caption. Oh, bounding box, rectangle, beautiful font, caption, photo, and it was just a repeat thing. And this is when it finally kind of clicked strongly. Like I started to see the line, like the killing point. Like, oh my god, I can see it now. I can see it. That's the dangerous part. Like, this is something that put in the wrong hands is fucking scary. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I know it's not the most appropriate, but this is something that clicked because when I went out to Ferrari most recently, and the cars were beautiful, don't get me wrong, and networking was important, but then it was also important to me to kind of begin to understand my client. And what I started researching was I look at their magazines. I know what makes Porsche for layout and what makes it recognizable when somebody picks it up and they want to see Porsche. I have a surface level idea of what I would want to put at a front page for somebody to be like, oh, Porsche magazine. Okay, I know how to do that. What makes a Ferrari magazine cover, kind of a presentation within a magazine, to be able to grab one's attention, but not only that, but make it recognizable, but always brand new. And what I would notice were like Porsche does like a bounding box and kind of makes it luxurious or pretty. Ferrari, what they do, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate the support. Man, that's what's up, bro. Hey, bro, stop. But when I was researching, like I was saying, Porsche would do bounding box. What I started to notice and I see
his Ferrari would do top line, bottom line, photo, action shot of a Ferrari on one side of the magazine, pretty font, message, top line, bottom line, pretty photo, action shot, pretty font, sentence, line. And it became repetitive to where when I started seeing the pattern and seeing the pattern, like I could see that line finally. It was like, holy fucking shit. Now I know what makes Ferrari Ferrari. And when I was talking to about it with my barber, I was like, it's scary, because at that point the only thing that's really changing to make it feel brand new when somebody picks it up, these magazines, or what makes it feel like recognizable, is that they take that same layout but just approach it differently. Okay, instead of having the Ferrari here, I'm gonna move it over here, and then instead of having the font right here, I'm gonna move it over here, and instead of this action shot presented in this way from like a open valley, open farm area, what if I do it at a racetrack? Or instead of at a racetrack, what if I do it over by the beach? And you go about it different ways, to where it's like, yo, I'm sorry, but it's just like, yo, this is crazy. Because then you start to look at stuff strongly different. Now I know what makes Porsche Porsche. Now I know what makes Ferrari Ferrari. What makes Lamborghini Lamborghini. And when you take those three lines, right, and you think about it from like a marketing aspect, if you have the recipe of how Porsche makes Porsche through graphic design, and you have what makes Ferrari Ferrari through graphic design and layout, and you have what makes Lamborghini Lamborghini through graphic design, what happens when, if I'm working with Lamborghini and I know what makes Porsche people comfortable, what they're used to seeing, if I wanted to grab and take their consumers, their clients, what happens when I still make Lamborghini layouts and all this for the Lamborghini consumer and for the Porsche people that might pick it up? What if at one page I present something to them that's familiar? Pretty bounding box, rectangle, font, caption, Lamborghini, in a way where they're like, previous. Porsche to me, not Porsche, Lamborghini to me was ugly, but all of a sudden now they're starting to get my attention. They don't know why they're beginning to change opinion of it, right? And the scary fucking thing about graphic design is quite literally all manipulation. And imagine, like, if I'm working for Lamborghini and I start taking this mindset and like, I want these people, I want them to come here, I want this company to grow, I want to grow myself too and learn these skill sets. And I start doing this to where it's just like, okay, let me do this for the Porsche people, let me do this for the Ferrari people with Lamborghini, with who I'm working with, and let me start doing this. And then kind of come to note that the funnel that you once had for just Lamborghini people isn't enough. Now you have to kind of expand the funnel that you once had to be able to make room for the Porsche, to make room for the Ferrari, and it's like, holy fucking shit. My goodness. But yeah, that was something that I felt was appropriate, that I wanted to share, that I enjoyed a lot. And if it's something that benefits you in any way, shape, or form, it's like, take it, use it, however you feel is most necessary. I'm thankful to Juan for teaching me about mindset and how to go about it, to my grandpa and my cousin for the conversation, and also to this other friend that kind of showed me that through passion, sheer passion alone, and like not perfectionism per se, but like ensuring the best quality product gets you the money not too long afterwards. But you can never put money at the forefront of what it is that you want, because if you do, then you doom yourself to really steer away from the money. But that's information that if it serves you, cool. Reap what you sow. Other than that, it's 9 o'clock and I gotta get to bed soon, and I gotta start editing these videos to kind of push for another day, to exercise another idea, because I think I might be onto something when it comes to these portraits, shapes, line, and design. And this is probably one of my more favorite pieces. It's too damn bright. One of my favorite pieces that I've done so far when it comes to art. If it'll do it. There you go. And for those of you that want to kind of take a look at my work or even follow me, the resources to where that you'll find my stuff or even my links to my pages would be through venturagraphics.com. Life is truly moving in the direction of where it is that I'm seeking. I have to believe that. And life has kind of been steering and moving in the direction towards just like it feels like it's a lot closer with every single day that passes. And it's scary. I'll be honest with you, it's scary because kind of like a joke that that I have with my cousin I talk with him about is like you always believed that you could do it, and the people that were kind of like, oh, you could do it, I think when you do finally do it, they're like, I always believed. You fucking did it, bro. You supported from the shadows and like didn't help as much as you did. And then now that things are different to where I'm in this place and position, now you're trying to claim a seat like you were there to help with the process. And I don't feel that way towards like a resentment, but it's almost like, bruh, you look at that kind of stuff and you can only chuckle because you know who those people are that truly did believe. And you know there are those that also just kind of try to be like, hey, I always knew. Oh, you fucking did it, bro. You I know what part you played in this process, man. Dear Almighty. This is gonna be another long video for you guys to enjoy. And other than that, I hope you guys have a good one. And yeah, I'll see you guys here in the next one. Peace.